Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Class 5th, we are going to start our exercise 6th B. So before starting that exercise, first we will read about the ratio. What is the ratio? Actually, the ratio is a relationship between two or more values. What is the ratio? Ratio is a relationship between two or more values. The ratios are used in different ways in our daily life. For example, while cooking, we use ingredients in different ratios. In half cup of sugar, we need 4 cups of water, and if we want to add 1 full cup of sugar, obviously we will need 8 cup of water. So both quantities have been doubled. So our ratio compares the value. It tells how much one thing as compared to another thing. So after ratio, so what are the similarities about ratio? Ratio compares two quantities. A ratio has no unit. These things should be kept in mind. So ratios can be written as a fraction or using a symbol ratio. You can write the ratio as a fraction, means the sign of divisor, and you can also write them with the symbol. Ratios must be written in the lowest terms. Ratio must be written in the lowest terms. This point should be also kept in your mind. To find the ratio of two quantities, convert them into the same unit. If you want to find the ratio of two quantities, so you should convert them into the same units. These are the 5 important points that will help you to solve the next exercise. Now, what is the proportion? When two ratios are equal, the numbers are said to be in proportion. The numbers will be said in proportion. So what is direct proportion? There are two proportions. One is direct proportion and the second one is inverse proportion. When there is an increase in one quantity and also increase into the second quantity, it will called direct proportion. If you are adding more sugar, then you will need to add more milk. So you are increasing both quantities, so they will be called direct proportion. If you are adding less sugar, then you will use less milk. So there is a decrease in first quantity and also into the second quantity. So these two quantities are also known as direct proportion. Here is another example. If you want to make more cupcakes, so you will need more material, and if you want to make few cupcakes, less cupcakes, so you will need less material. So this is also called the direct proportion. What is inverse proportion? If one quantity is increasing, the second quantity will start decreasing. So this will called the inverse proportion. And if on the other hand, if one quantity is decreasing and the second quantity is increasing, so this is also called the direct proportion. When one quantity increases as the other decreases, or one quantity decreases and the other increases, so these are said the inversely proportion. So you can see, if there are more men to build a wall, so the work will be done in short time. If there are less men to build a wall, so the work will be done in more time. So here the labor is increased, time will be decreased. In the second condition, if we decrease the labor, the time will be increased. So these are inversely proportioned. Now come for the exercise. Question number 1, 2 and 3 are for your self-assessment. Now come for the question number 4, how to solve that question. Simplify each of the ratios. Here some ratios are given and you have to simplify them. So one point should be kept in mind, that the ratios should be into the smallest form. So these are into the higher order, so we have to convert them into the smallest form. The ratio is 20 ratio 45, 20 is to 45. So by dividing it, on which table these two ratios can be divided, these two can be divided by 5, dividing by 5. So 5 2s are 20, 5 9s are 45, divided by 5. So 5 4s are 20 and 5 9s are 45. So this is the smallest form of this ratio, and this is the answer. Now come for another question that is a little bit different. So that is, you can see 2 weeks ratio 10 days. As you know that in part D, 2 weeks is to 10 days. You can read this symbol as is to. 2 weeks is to 10 days. How many days are in 2 weeks? There are 7 days in 1 week and 14 days in, you can say, 2 weeks, and here are also now 10 days. So on which table these both can be divided? These both can be divided on 2, dividing by 2. 2 7s are 14, 2 5s are 10. Now these could not be divided furthermore on the same table, so this is the answer, and the other parts could be done on the same pattern. If it is kilometer, first you have to convert kilometer into meters, as we have done that in previous chapter number 5, how to convert meters into kilometers and kilometer into meter. So then you will do the cancellation. And now come for the exercise, that is word problem. Question number 1. Sultan can color 4 pictures in 6 hours. If you can see, Sultan can color 4 pictures in 6 hours. How many pictures can he color in 15 hours? You can see that we are writing it as 6 pictures. Sultan can color 4 pics in 6 hours. So 6 pics, you can see he can color 4 pictures in 6 hours. He can color, how many pictures he can color? He can color 4 pictures in 6 hours. He can color 4 pictures in 6 hours. So the way how to write the statement, that how many pics colored in 6 hours? They were 4 pictures. Pictures colored in 6 hours, they were 4. And how many pics colored in 1 hour? We will divide these 4 pictures by the number of hours, and he has to color the pics in 15 hours. So we will divide this number by 15 hours to know the right amount. Now we will cancellate it. 2 2s are 4, 2 3s are 6, 3 1s are 3, 3 5s are 10, 3 5s are 15, and pictures colored in 15 hours, 5 2s are 10, 10 pictures. So how many pictures could be colored in 15 hours? 10 pictures. Now come for the second question. I'll just guide you for the solution, and you have to solve that by following the same steps, by following the same procedure, writing the statement like this. Latif ran 10 kilometers in 2 hours. Distance covered in 2 hours, that was 10 kilometers. If he continues the same pace, how long will take to cover 7 kilometers? As you know that you have to find the if you want to find the time, so you will write it as, you can write it as distance covered in 2 hours, that was 10 kilometers. 10 kilometers were covered, you can write it as 10 kilometers covered in 2 hours, and 1 kilometer covered in 2 divided by 10. And if you want to know that 7 kilometer could be covered, 7 kilometer will be covered as 2 ones are 2, 2 5s are 10, so the ratio will be 7 ones are 7 and 5 ones are 5, and you have to write its answer in the fraction. 5 ones are 5 and 2 is remainder, so 7 kilometer will be covered in quotient plus quotient plus remainder over divisor 1 into 2 by 5 is the answer. Now come for question number 3. 8 packets of a candy cost rupees 340. Cost of 8 packets rupees 340. You can write it as cost of 8 packets rupees 340. Cost of 1 packet 340 divided by 8. Then cost of rupees 15 340 divided by 8 multiply by this 15. Now come for the other question, that is 2 carpenters can make a cupboard in 5 days. 2 carpenters can make a cupboard. 2 carpenters, how long will 6 carpenters take to make the cupboard in? So if the carpenters are less and the days are more, here was the direct proportion, and now come for the indirect proportion. Here 2 carpenters were making a cupboard in 5 days. If the carpenters are 6 and the days will be shortened, so the procedure how to solve that question, that is to here you have to keep one thing in your mind, that is 2 carpenters make in a cupboard in 5 days, and 1 carpenter will make it it in 10 days. 5 2s are 10. Obviously if it is 1, so he will take double days, so he will make in 10 days. So if the carpenters are 6 and they have to make the cupboard, so how many days will they take? They will divide the 10 days into 6 parts. So 2 3s are 6 and 2 5s are 10. Now they will 5 by 3, 3 ones are 3, 5 minus 3 it is 2. So the answer is quotient plus remainder over divisor. So how many days will take? 6 carpenters, they will take 1 day and 2 parts of 3 days. Clear? 2/3 of a day, 1 full day, and then the second 2 parts of the 3 days will be taken. And the question number 5 will also be done on the same pattern, because a garrison of 25 soldiers has enough food for a week. There are 7 days in a week. How long will the food will last for 14 soldiers? If the soldiers will be less, so the food will be continue for more days. So this is also an inverse proportion. So you will do this question on the same pattern. You will first multiply these two numbers and then you will divide them by the number 14. That is the total number of soldiers which are left. So after doing this question, your chapter number 6 is covered.